Hey guys, this is Eric Weingartner with Weingartner Racing. Today's video is about the Cam Challenge. I'm going to make it really short, and I know you want your technical one. Things are really busy in the shop, so it's really hard for me to do a technical video. I've got stuff to do. It's just it takes about 3 hours after editing to make the video right. I ain't got that right now. But this one's strictly about the Cam Challenge. For those that don't know, there's two taking place. The first one's a small block Ford Cam Challenge. When I say it's getting close, it's getting really close. I ordered the push rods a few days ago. That's the only thing that was left to get the engine to start up. Once the engine's running, we'll set a time, a week, where we could do the cam swaps. The small block Ford is pretty exciting. Everybody got their cams in. So if you donated to the small block Ford Cam Challenge, in the link that I sent you, when you donated, click on it again and you'll see everybody's cam cards. They're all in there right now. I will warn you, Karsten Kafer's cam card is incorrect. He sent the wrong one. I've got to upload the right one at some point. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But regardless, that's really what's going on. So all those are there, and we'll talk a little bit about it. So just to give you an idea of kind of a rundown, here's the people that are in it, and there's quite a few. So bear with me as I read off the names, and then I'll kind of give you a generic rundown of the cams. If you really want to see the cam cards, donate. If you're like, I haven't donated, how do I do that? In this video, at the bottom or in the description of this video, in the description, there'll be a link to donate to the small block Ford and the small block Chevy Cam Challenge. When you donate, you get the link and you see all the data that goes with it. As the dyno runs are going through and I take a picture of the dyno sheet, those will drop in there too. So anyway, here are the competitors in the small block Ford Cam Challenge. We have Gerald Brand. He's running, by the way, this is the run order that they're going to go in. So this is the exact order in which we'll be competing. The first cam will be Gerald Brand from Brand Racing Engines. Next will be Tim Hillard, Optimum Performance. Chris Allman will be the next one. Triceratop Performance is next. B&F Engines is next. Chris Straub is next. Jacob Gibson. Then IMM Engines. Then Brent Likens. Then Keith Parks. Then Tyler Newberry. Then P&M Performance. Then Kuhnsen Company. Then Karsten Kafer. Then Quinton Performance. Then Joe Carroll. And we leave off with John Vitone. Those are in order from the least intake duration to the most. And that's how they're ran. So just to give you an idea, the least amount of intake duration ran on this, and this is at 50,000, so I'm not doing advertised. But at the least amount of intake duration of all of them is 254 degrees. The most is 284.5. That's intake. Exhaust varies a lot. They're not in order, so this is hard for me to look and see. But it looks like the smallest exhaust duration is 270 degrees, and the most is 299 degrees at 50,000. As far as lift, only Brent Likens pushed it to the absolute limit. So his is the closest to hitting the max you could run, which is 780. The rest are between, I think the lowest, and this is on the exhaust side, something like 670 or something. And obviously the highest one is Brent Likens. And by the way, if you're looking at his card, you're like, oh, he cheated. It's over that. After Lash, he's not. So he's fine. So it looks like that's what's going to happen. The lobe separations, this is probably of all the things that gets the most internet thing about, you know, the cam's got to have the lobe separation of this or this because so-and-so said this or this. You should have this lobe separation. When you look at them, that of all of the things in these cam cards, all 16 of them, that is probably the one that's the closest. So just to give you an idea, the tightest lobe separation I think was, and I hope I'm not looking at it wrong, which I probably am. Let me grab the right sheet here. Sorry. Let me just flip to this. This is easier for me to see. The tightest one is 108, and the widest one's 114. So they're not that far difference. I thought I'd have someone trying to squeeze in like a 104. So that's kind of shocking too. Not that I think it's the best, but I just thought, for after the LS, because we had so much variety in that, I thought some people might push that one, but they didn't. So if you want to see the cam cards, $20. What happens with that money, by the way, that you donate? Half of it goes to the winners after the bills are paid. The other half goes to me. The problem is right now this thing is costing me a fortune. No matter what, I'm going to give the winner $1,000, even if it comes out of my pocket. Hopefully I can give you far more than that, but this thing really has become quite expensive. And I do not know what's going to happen to the engine after it's all over. So this is an interesting thing too, because the short block came from Kunz Company. This is a small block Ford. It's 427 cubic inches. The heads are mine. They're the Trick Flow high ports. And these ones I actually bought. They weren't donated by Trick Flow. The ones that were are the ones that got messed up. So the heads are mine. The intake was Kunz's, but then I ported it. And then there's other pieces in there too, like Straub donated the lifters, or I should say Morel did, donated the lifters. And then there's other pieces that I bought to make this whole thing go together. LGM, by the way, donated the shaft rockers too. So there's a lot of pieces. So I don't know what's going to happen with this engine when it's all said and done. It's a really great question. So maybe someone would want to buy a very expensive piece. I don't know. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's later on in the story, I guess we could say. I have not run any of these cams through my predictor yet, but I do plan to do that, and that'll probably be in like a Saturday update video day, because I am curious to see what the actual computer or Performance Trends thinks would win. Last time it predicted David Vizard would win, but in reality, the one that they picked was second, the computer did, was actually the winner, which was NK Performance from the LS one. This one, I don't know. We'll see. That's what's going to happen, and it should be very interesting. I'll give you updates as we go. Now, for the next piece. That breaks off the small block Ford Cam Challenge. Now let's talk about the small block Chevy Cam Challenge. I don't have all the rules laid out, but I do now have all the people that I know for sure should be competing anyway. These guys I accepted. So this will take place at Kunz & Company. So here's this one. The small block Chevy is a 421 small block Chevy. It will have my set of my Dragon Slayers, my 40-60 spacing on them. It's a hydraulic roller cam, but running solid roller lifters on it. The spring that's on it's a 1255X from Pack. It's a beehive spring, 180 pounds on the seat and like 400 and something open. All the specs will be given to you. It's actually already in the link for those that donated. It has a Holley high ran on the intake manifold. It's going to be fuel injected, and it's running on E85. That one will be ran in 3 different configurations. One being naturally aspirated, second way with about 5 pounds of boost, and third way would be about 10 pounds of boost, maybe a little bit more. The supercharger, I'm still trying to work it out because I need a cog setup. I have a Vortec and I also have a Torque Storm. I'm leading more towards the Torque Storm. I'm going to tell you why. The bracketry on the Vortec, it's very time consuming, and I don't think there's more stuff I got to take off if I do the Vortec. It's the best way I could say it. The Torque Storms also is self-contained. The Vortec is not. I have to run a return line for the oil and a pressurized line to it. There's more of a pain in the rear. So probably going to run the Torque Storm, the bigger one, the 84 millimeter. It's made over 1,000 horsepower in the engine I tried blowing up. This thing will make way over that, I'd imagine. Anyway, that's essentially it. I haven't determined the RPM band, but probably, and this is not set in stones because I'm still thinking it over. Probably the RPM range for that's probably going to be 4,500 to 7,000. And that's where we're going to run to. It has titanium valves, so not really worried about valve float necessarily. But anyway, that's that one. Here, who I said, and I've been saying it for weeks and weeks and weeks, if you want to enter, this is how you do it. Email me, and then very few people did. So here's what we have. Some of the entries were from the previous LS Cam Challenge. I asked those guys, hey, do you want to do the Ford or the Chevy? And several people said they wanted to do the Chevy. So here's the people that are in it. And several of these are from the other challenge, but also have some new faces in here as well. And I'll talk about something more about it in a minute too. The first one's Summit Racing, which is Brian Nutter. David Vizard, he said he wanted to do it. I reached out to him, but I never got a response back. John Elford, Daniel Powell, Brian Tooley said yes. Looking forward to that. That's about, and NK Performance. That's about it for the ones that have done it from the LS. But here's some other people that are in it. So if you hear your name, you need to email me and say, yeah, I still want to do it. If you don't want to do it, email me too and say I don't want to do it so I can open up that spot for someone else. We have Jose de Jesus, Paul Barlow, Andrew Hunter, Tyler Davis, Chris Allman, and Brian Halfinger. Those ones, you're good to go. So just email me and say, yeah, I'm still game. Let's play. And we're going to get you in. Now, if you notice, that's not that very many names. I think if my count's right, I'm only about 14 names. Kuntz is where we're going to be dynoing that one, not at Dunsworth. It's going to be dynoed at Kuntz because Kuntz is building the engine. That's in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. I'm going to go down there for that one. That one will probably take place in July. It's looking that way. Now, I asked them this week, I said, how many cams do you really feel comfortable testing? And they said, we'd be okay with 20. I'm not near 20. So what I think I'm going to do is the same way I did the LS Cam Challenge. I haven't even said the entry fee yet because I haven't really got an idea yet. Probably going to be the same as what the Ford was. So just letting you know. And the Ford was $600 for anybody that was new. If you had already competed, it'd be $400. I give them a little break because they helped start this thing. However, that's not set in stone. But what I think I am going to do is the same way I did the LS Cam Challenge. I'm going to give a date. I'm going to say you can start sending in cams this date. But like the LS, what you did is the first cams that came in and paid their entry fee, they're in. So you could be Joe Blow, whatever else. With this exception, I don't want to deal with drama. So there are some people that are just addicted to drama or just going to be, I could feel will be a pain in my rear. And I don't want to deal with that. So if you're one of those people like that, or that I feel that you're that way, I'm going to tell you don't send in the cam. Or if it's here, I'm just going to send it back. You'll probably see why there's might be a name missing or something from the list that's there. I just don't want to deal with it. There's too much going on. I don't have time as it is to do the cam challenge, and I for sure don't have time to make you feel better about yourself. So anyway, I still want a bunch of new people to be able to chance to enter anyway. Even if you're like, no, I think I've got a good cam that's run really well. That's what people did with the LSs, and quite frankly, if you could pay the entry fee and you got it and you could still meet the rules, we're good. Now, that doesn't mean to send in a cam now because you don't even know what all the rules are. I haven't said this is the max lift, this has to be a small base circle. I haven't said any of that stuff yet. I'm just saying you better get ready. So start doing some calculations and figuring this stuff out if that's one of the people. Now, there's a few exceptions I'll make to this too. One person hit me up today, and I would absolutely don't care. He's automatically in if he says he wants to. So I don't want to mention his name because I don't know if he's going to do it. But there's a few people that are like that. In other words, I think they're iconic in the industry. And if those icons in the industry want to compete, they're going to compete. So, because I think if I want to see it, that means the world probably wants to see it too. But I still want other people that just happen to be a regular, ordinary, average Joe that likes watching YouTube and thinks what they know. Or maybe you're just a cocky guy and you think you know everything about camshafts. Maybe that's it too. So if you're one of those people, that's fine. Now, speaking of which, I'll bring up his name, and I'm only going to bring it up here. I'm going to start off with this. If you purchase this data from me, when you donate, that data is tied to your email. This doesn't mean you have the right to share it with everybody else, because as a matter of fact, it will not let you. If you have an email that won't let it just be view only and allows you to share with others, I won't send it to you. You have to have an email that only allows it for it to be sent just to you, because I don't want someone donating and then sharing it with every one of their friends, and then none of the money gets put back into the competition for the winners. Because there was a case last year where someone had purchased, well, someone didn't purchase. Someone else purchased the data, gave it to someone else. They then used it to make a YouTube video on their own, so they were able to make profit off of something that they didn't have any part of. I wouldn't have minded, by the way, if they'd just asked. So they said, hey, can I use this part of your stuff? I probably would have said yes. As a matter of fact, I know I would have, because I've never turned anybody down for using my stuff. It's just more of a respect thing. However, if you know who I'm talking about, or if you are that person, Mr. Dog, you're more than welcome to try this SBC Cam Challenge. So, but anyway, I won't boot you. I wouldn't, but because I don't think you're going to give me any drama as far as the actual competition. I know you got your thing there, but I don't think you're going to be in the middle of a competition saying, hey, I didn't know what the rules were. This isn't fair. I should be this place. I don't think you're going to be that person, so you're cool with me. Anyway, that's this video. Sorry if it isn't so good. Please donate. It really does help with all this to make it happen. Speaking of which, last thing I'm going to leave you with, since this is pretty much about cam challenges, I still plan in October, and this is you might as well write this one in, unless I happen to blow up the LS engine before October, which God, I hope not, because I do plan to do more LS testing this summer. So one of the things that's going to be my big test for the LS is testing whether the back cut on an intake valve does anything for power, because it shows up on the flow bench. That's the big thing for the LS getting tested this summer. I'm also going to test a few different heads on that engine at the same dyno session. So that's the plan for it, but assuming nothing goes wrong with it during that time, which I don't think anything will anyway, but you never know. I mean, things happen. Knock on wood, nothing goes wrong. But assuming the LS engine stays together in October, we're going to have another challenge with the LS. I'll change something about it, whether it be heads or something that makes it different than what it was before. And that one, we're going to run it just like we did last year, because the engine will already be together, so the cost for that's nothing. But what we'll do is just like last year, first one in, and that entry fee will be very low because there's no cost to building an engine. There's just the dyno time I got to pay for. So the more money donations that come in, the more dyno time I could get, the more cams that could be tested. Anywho, I will probably buy a few new things for that, like new rocker arms for that one, because at that point I will have pulled those, at least the nuts for the rocker arms off. I think that right now it's like 38 times. So it feels like I should, not that there's anything wrong with them, I'm sure, but I don't want to take the chance of that being a failure. But little stuff like that is no big deal. Anyway, that one's probably going to take place in October. I've been trying like heck to get Brian Tooley to donate one of his 427s with the, his new canted valve head, and we just dyno with that one. But that's not even my stuff. It didn't really help my cause at all, but I don't know. What I'm thinking about doing is I have a CNC program from an LS3 head, and I can't, well, I guess I could sell it, but I'm going to ask that company that I made it for if they wouldn't mind selling me a set. Maybe I'll try that on the LS engine, assuming Brian Tooley's thing doesn't work out. And then I know what at least best camshaft for my heads are for that deal. Anyway, a little bit of rant got going on there, but anyway, purchase the donations, see the cam cards for the Ford thing. It's coming up soon, God willing. Please let nothing else go wrong. But I think everything should be fine with that. The small block Chevy will happen in probably July. It's looking really good that way. So, yep, donate to that too. So anyway, that's all I got. Guys, thanks for watching. I'm no Superman. I did race Superboy, and I don't port cast iron heads. You guys take care.